Welcome back to the Peggy Smedley Show, the podcasting voice of IoT and digital transformation.
Welcome back to the Peggy Smedley Show. We are coming to you live from Liveworx and PTC. It has been a great morning already. The show is packed and there's a lot of exciting things. And right now I'm excited to say I'm here with Kathleen Mitford, who's the Executive VP of Products at PTC. Kathleen, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Peggy, and thank you for having me. So excited to be here today.
Oh, this is wonderful. You guys have given us a prime spot here, and I get to see all these amazing people. How's the show been for you?
The show has been fantastic. The level of excitement and engagement with our customers has been truly amazing. You know, they got really excited after the keynote, not only on the products that we have today, but what's coming in the future. And you see that as you look around the floor here.
Well, I'll tell you, Jim knows how to get everybody excited, right, and get things going there. So that's really been great. So share a little bit about some of the excitement and things that are just happening here at Liveworx and what you guys are looking to accomplish. I know there's been a lot of discussion and things that you guys have going on.
Sure. So some of the things that we're really excited about is we do see that there is a renaissance of design. If you think about the new innovations that are happening, you know, let's start with CAD. With generative design, with additive manufacturing, with simulation directly in the CAD tools, that's really changing the way that our customers can design. And Jim talked a lot about the importance of PLM, of product lifecycle management, that as our customers are looking to drive digital transformation strategies, they need to have their digital house in order. And at the heart of that is PLM. And then when you extend that, the configuration over to Internet of Things and augmented reality, that's an amazing combination.
It was interesting to hear him talk about how the IoT is transforming the way the work is done in manufacturing, to see that all come together. Is that something now that's new, that you kind of put that all, CAD, PLM, IoT, you know, AR, you put that whole thing together to see that digital thread that you just talked about?
It's actually not new. So a little bit about my background. Before I was in products, I worked in corporate strategy, you know, working with Jim on what was next after CAD and PLM. And one of the main reasons for us getting into IoT and then AR is because of the synergy with both CAD and PLM. Think about when you take data, real-time data streaming from a product, that's going to allow you to design better products, smart connected products. When you take data, real-time data again from the product, and combine that with your existing business systems, that allows you to optimize your processes. And then when we think about people, with augmented reality, with access to relevant data, it makes people be able to work more efficiently and innovatively as well. So this is not new for PTC. You know, this has been our strategy since the beginning. I think right now, though, customers are kind of catching up because of their digital transformation initiatives, and it's an imperative to do this to stay relevant in today's competitive environment.
Jim comes from the PLM background, so for him, he gets it. Is the concept new to the customers who are trying to say, what advice you would give them to say, jump into this? Because for them, for manufacturers who might not realize this whole transformation journey is exciting to them. And is that part of it is where they can get prepared to make this digital transformation journey? Is that where it gets them going, now how do I do this? How do I make this all come together?
Yes. So I think what we're seeing with customers is when we sat here 3 years ago, they were maybe scratching their heads saying,
I could understand that.
IoT, what the heck is PTC doing getting into IoT? What does that mean to me? But we're actually seeing that customers are moving from how am I going to use IoT? What value is it going to deliver to my business? To actually moving towards actually real implementations. So I think that they understand Internet of Things and how it can help them transform engineering, manufacturing, and service. I think maybe what's a little bit new is the importance of PLM and the importance of that foundation that they've already laid with the product data, and how when you transfer that product data through to different functions and experiences, creating that digital thread, the relevance of it. You know, Jim made the comment, every PLM person here in the audience should go ask for a raise. My phone was buzzing with all my PLM product managers afterwards asking for a raise. But, you know, I think that's really important. I think that's important, and I think that connection between PLM and IoT and AR is maybe a little bit new for customers.
Did you say, Jim, now you have to give me more money because I have to give all my employees in PLM raises?
I'm going to have that conversation with them.
So let's talk more in depth about AR. Can you share a little bit, because it's kind of interesting to me, some of the advancements that you're making there, because I think that's an area that I think is exciting, and Jim talked a lot about it, but I think we saw so much here and everybody talking about where AR is going and what you guys are all involved with there.
Yeah, AR is, again, another really exciting area that I think customers grasp AR quickly because you can see it. You can visualize it immediately. So some of the advancements that we're doing in AR is, number one, taking our deep domain experience in engineering and manufacturing and service, and putting best practices in how you do things like work instructions for manufacturing work instructions or service work instructions, and building templates for our customers based upon those different processes. So that's one area that we're working on. We're also working on making sure that we have a complete AR portfolio meeting our customers' needs. So our AR portfolio continues to expand beyond just studio and chalk and expert capture. Other things that we're doing is transforming computer vision and how we're actually able to use augmented reality. So for example, taking away the need to have markers or codes and just being able to automatically recognize an object and provide that in the AR experience. And then I think one of the areas I'm really excited about as well is some of the technology that we showed at the keynote yesterday in being able to capture a space such as a factory without having a CAD model. So being able to capture that so that you can then put the AR information and IoT information on top of that.
That was pretty exciting to see. I mean, when you really look at what was going on there, I wonder just how many people actually understood just the significance of that. I mean, that's what was really special to see.
I mean, think about a factory. Factories change. So the initial CAD model of what that factory was going to look like, if you say, okay, look at all the changes that we've made in the factory over the years, it's probably completely different. So using something like that technology that we saw that allows you to capture, I think that's also going to help accelerate AR in areas like factories.
I think for me, what I'm curious about is what are some of the advancements happening when you take CAD and PLM? Because Jim talked a little bit about, well, he talked a lot about it, but CAD and PLM, and he talked about AL, and he really talked about all of them together. When you think about solutions and offerings, all of them combining together, do you think that when we look at where the market's headed, do you think that all of those solutions together, when manufacturing and combining them all, that customers are really going to get how they can actually leverage all of this technology together in ways that they didn't imagine?
Absolutely. So when we think about our product strategy and we think about what business value we're going to deliver to customers, we don't think about it and what are we going to do in CAD, what are we going to do in PLM. I mean, of course we do have to think about that in our backlog of enhancements, but we take a different approach to it. We say, what are the challenges in engineering? What are the challenges in manufacturing? What are the challenges in service? And start from there and say, then what type of solutions do we need to deliver for our customers? And those solutions are a combination of PLM, IoT, AR, and CAD all working together. So it's a slightly different approach. Now, of course, we still have a CAD roadmap and a product roadmap, but instead, we are more focused on, let's say we want to improve workforce productivity.
So those are like the biggest benefits to customers, for them to see that roadmap, and that's kind of what I got out of Jim's presentation a little bit.
Exactly. Like if we take this workforce productivity example, I need to understand the manufacturing bill of materials. That comes from PLM. I want to provide that information to work instructions that I'm then going to deliver to the operator. That's IoT. I can deliver that information on a screen, or I can deliver it in a augmented reality experience using AR. So in that example there for workforce productivity, we just talked about PLM, we talked about IoT, and we talked about AR, all coming together as a solution for customers.
When Jim was talking about the Volvo example on stage yesterday, he was talking and showing you all the things he could see. How significant was that? Walk through viewers who might not have seen that yesterday. How significant when he was walking through and showing every point of that, how really, I really don't know that people understood just the significance of that, because to me, I was sitting there going, if you can actually visualize that and really be able to do things, that's changing the game in so many ways.
It's absolutely changing the game. You know, a lot of companies talk about IoT and AR, but if you don't actually understand the product that that particular service technician is working on right then and there, you know, it's really not of that much value. So what Jim showed is how we start with, here's a configuration of the product. Here's all the possible variations of that particular product. Now, when we get to an end customer, that actual product could be slightly different based upon where it's manufactured. There could be different parts available, let's say in Brazil versus in China. And then that product has a different experience because it was serviced differently. Maybe we use some spare parts to change it out. So that configuration is managed in PLM, but then IoT and AR need to know the exact configuration. And that's what Jim actually walked through to show how you can have a complexity of a product, but easily manage it. So when you get to the end user, let's say the service technician, we're talking about the product that they're working on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, because I think when you look at companies like Volvo, or you look at service technicians, and the idea, for me, I was thinking about the upskilling possibilities that you were doing, that people now who might not be properly trained, how you could change the game for where we are going forward, that we might not have all the people who have the knowledge, that we can actually change the workforce with that as well. Is that something we can look at? Because this is how I look at it, STEM. I look at now, how can we get more women involved, we can get the next generation. Does some of that enable that? I mean,
absolutely. And I think that there's two components of it. We all know that there is a workforce shortage, that there's a skill gap, that we have retiring workforce. So using some of the technology that we showed, it allows us to take the expertise of the retiring workers, be able to capture that, so that when you have somebody new coming in, maybe somebody right out of college, they have all that years of experience that's been captured in the mind of the retiring worker. So it makes them productive immediately. So instead of having to go through, 3 years of training, now they'll still have some training, this allows them to be much more productive from their very first day at work.
So in manufacturing, we have that is a big problem when we think about that, because we have a much more aging workforce, and you're enabling that. Let's kind of change the conversation a little bit about women in the workforce, in manufacturing and things like that. Are we doing enough to encourage them to get into this industry? Because now I think the technology is really, when we talk about people, process, technology, I listened to the conversation, I thought, wow, what a great way to encourage more women. And I know that's something that's near and dear to your heart, but this enables that. I think the digital thread that Jim was talking about opens it up for everybody, young, old, male, female, everything, in that it opens a really new opportunities for everyone.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Peggy. And you're right. This is something, women in technology is near and dear to my heart. It's an initiative that I'm passionate about. I do think this new technology helps. But I also think that there are a lot of programs out there, a lot of STEM programs to encourage women to get into technology. I think the challenge that we have is once we have them, we don't keep them. So I think that some of the challenge is really about how do we retain women leadership, and then how do we promote them to the next level. We need more women CEOs. We need more women sitting in the boardroom. We need more women in development positions, top development engineers.
What do you think as an industry, are we doing enough to encourage based on the technology? Are we doing enough at a younger age when they're in ninth grade to see this, because we look at like right now, when we think about some of the great technology that's here, to get them involved, to see the excitement about the technology. Is that what we're doing? I mean, that's what you say at CEO levels. I mean, where do we have to get them to want to be involved in all of this?
Well, that's a tough question.
Yeah,
because
it's never easy.
I think it's regional as well, because I think that there are so many different STEM programs out there, to teach robotics at a young age, the girls who code. So I think there's so many programs focused on getting women interested in technology, but then I think that we don't always have inclusive work environments. So once they get into their first jobs, or even looking for their first jobs, that maybe that's where the challenges are.
Talk about what's been happening here on the show floor. There's a lot of exciting technologies on the floor right now. Talk a little bit about what you've been most impressed with, with the partners that you guys have here. Is there things here that you think open up for a lot of opportunities? What have you seen that you like so far?
Okay, that's a hard question to answer.
You get to look, though.
Because I do get to look, and there are so many partners, and there's so many great technology here. Some of the really exciting things, Rockwell Automation. This is our second year with our partnership with Rockwell Automation.
And that just keeps growing, right?
And that keeps growing. We're looking over right here at our factory over there, where we have both a discrete and a process.
You got a boat on the floor, right?
We got a boat on the floor. We've got a Polaris Jeep on the floor. So there's lots of
crazy what you've got on this show floor. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? I mean, it's just crazy.
It does. And one other thing about that, Peggy, when you go and you look at the examples that we're showing on the show floor, it's not just PTC technology. It's PTC technology. It's Microsoft technology. It's ANSYS technology. So what we're trying to show our customers is how the whole ecosystem can come together to provide a complete experience for them.
You've been really committed to really showing that you can imagine what comes in the way products are designed. And that's really important to you. When you look what's coming next, when you want customers to think beyond what they're doing, what is the most important to you for future generations to think about, be innovative? Is that what all this is about, is thinking about that next big thing?
That is, and I think it's changing the way that we think, changing the way that we learn, and making sure that our minds are open to innovation. I've got two young children, a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, and the things that they're doing in school today with maker spaces and, learning to code, even in first grade, I wasn't doing those types of things. Technology wasn't around the same type of technology that we have today. So I think there's a lot of exposure to children with technology, and that's also something that PTC is passionate about, is making sure. I had a bunch of 6th grade girls in just last week, talking to them about why it's cool to get into STEM programs, showing them all the cool demos, most of them which we have on the floor here, and how they can be a part of technology.
Well, I think it's exciting to see all the things that we have. What do you think is, I'm asking you to spill the beans, what's next for PTC in developing this next digital transformation, people, process, technology, this digital thread that you guys talk about?
I have to keep some secrets, but I can tell you some of the things that we're working on, both in our tools today. Artificial intelligence, we have that in our tools today with things like how we use AI in generative, how we use AI in augmented reality. But I think that artificial intelligence is going to change every one of our product lines, from CAD to PLM to IoT to AR, and them all working together. So artificial intelligence is something we're spending a lot of time on. Generative. You saw the generative
tech?
Oh my
amazing.
God, that is amazing on changing the type of designs we can come up with in the future. I'm also really excited about additive. We're starting to see more adoption of additive in our customers. And when you combine additive and generative, although generative is much more than additive, I think additive is going to change our manufacturing processes. And then I'm still really excited about the possibilities with IoT. I think we're just at the tip of smart connected products, because think about, of all the products out there, how many are smart and connected? So it's still relatively low. But when you have real-time product data, how that can actually transform your next generation of products that you're building. So I think there's really a lot of exciting things to still work on.
Well, I'm telling you this, if you follow Kathleen Mitford's tips, you're right on the money. Everything she's predicted so far has come true. Kathleen, thank you so much. There you have it. Kathleen Mitford, Executive Vice President of Products at PTC. Kathleen, thank you so much for
Peggy.
your time.
It was
I've loved being here at PTC. This is great at Liveworx. You guys have just been nailing it. All right, what I want you to do to tweet at us at ConnectedWMag. If you haven't done it yet, do it. And I'm sure Kathleen's got a lot of secrets she can tell you because she's been nailing it right. All right, stick around. We've got more to come right here on the Peggy Smedley Show. We are coming to you live from Liveworx. And always, this is the Peggy Smedley Show, the podcasting voice of IoT and digital transformation. And remember, with great technology comes great responsibility. We'll be right back after this short break.